Okay, a common theme I had going on today with some clients was they were talking about this hunger that they're feeling, that they feel like they can never get satiated. And if they don't eat like literally every, 10, 15 minutes, they start to either a couple things happen, they start to feel really hungry, or the eating disorder starts screaming, kind of stops them in their tracks. And so they ask, like, am I literally supposed to eat all day every day? Just go from one place to the next place to the next place, getting food and eating it? And how will this ever stop? Like, wouldn't this just cause me to become like so unhealthy and just, like, how was this gonna stop? How will this, I'm creating this lifestyle now that can't be good to have forever. And my answer to that is, well, you're looking at your recovery eating and what your body needs in recovery as what it's going to need for the rest of its life. And those are two very, very different things. Unrestricted eating isn't different. That's going to be the same in recovery versus for the rest of your life. However, when you are in recovery, it takes a really, really, really long time, meaning it takes a lot of food to get yourself satiated. So like, let's say, you start eating, and when you're in recovery, it's going to take a long, long time to get satiated. When you're fully recovered, it doesn't take nearly as much. It doesn't take nearly as much food to get satiated. So these behaviors that you're doing in your recovery, where you're literally eating every 10 minutes and you still feel like you can't get enough and you're always wanting to eat and you're always thinking about food. Well, if you do that in recovery and you respect that and you allow that and you don't judge it and try to stop it, then you'll get to a place when you're recovered where, well, not only will you have no desire to do that anymore, but you won't have a physical capacity to be able to do that anymore. So the way that my clients are eating in recovery, I physically couldn't do that now because my body is not in energy debt anymore. My body could not process that amount of food in one day. And it doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with eating that amount of food in recovery, but once your body's at a place where it wants to be, it has no more desire to do that. So you don't have to, once you get to, once you're recovered, you're going to have to be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, now I've got to pull back like everything I've been eating and all these behaviors. This is going to be hard. This is going to be so hard if I'm totally into like what I've been doing, and then I'm going to have to pull back, and I don't want to get stuck in this routine that I love so much. And I had the same fears. Like, I totally remember in my recovery having the same thoughts. Like, when am I ever not going to want a brownie after every meal? When am I not going to feel like I need 3 sandwiches every time I sit down to have a sandwich? I don't see this ever changing. It feels like it's never going to end. But I promise you it does end. If anybody did not believe that would work, that I would be the one person that was never going to be able to stop eating, it was me. I promise you. Ask my husband. I probably vocalize that fear every single day. I don't know if I'm ever going to stop eating. I think I'm addicted to food. All of these things, right? But lo and behold, I stuck with the process, and I continued to, eat beyond what I ever would have thought was physically possible for not just a couple days or a couple weeks or even a couple months, for a good amount of time. I would say several months. I finally started to notice myself getting satisfied on smaller amounts. And I remember like the first few times that happened, I don't know if you're familiar with In-N-Out Burger, but I remember going to like get a cheeseburger and fries, and usually that wouldn't even like touch my hunger. I'd come home and like eat food right when I got back from that in recovery. But I remember going, and this was like quite a ways into recovery, and being like, I'm actually feeling pretty satisfied from this. Like, what? This is like what normal people feel. Like, this is, oh my gosh. And I just remember feeling like, for the first time ever, like, this actually is working. And it wasn't this like, oh yay, I get to eat less food, but it was just like, no, I'm genuinely satisfied and I really don't want any more. Like, how is this even possible? I always wanted like 4 cheeseburgers when I would sit down and eat. So I guess my point in sharing these experiences with you is just, you are not the unicorn in recovery. You are not the one person who's going to become addicted to food, who's never going to be able to stop. I promise you that. I can't make a lot of promises, but I can promise you that once you get your body out of energy debt, that you will find a place that is just natural and a normal way of eating for you, that does not look the same as it does when you're feast eating in recovery. And And that's how your body finds its place where it wants to be, that set point range that people talk about. That's how your body will find that place because it's brilliant and it knows how to get there. You don't have to intervene. So that's my message today. I just wanted to address that in a video because I feel like it's been kind of a common theme today and the last couple of days. And so hope it helps.